Winners don't use drugs. Hello again, everyone. It is James from Media Jam, and we have a very, very special video for you tonight. This is going to be the first episode in a series we're going to call Friday Night at the Arcade. You know, as a kid growing up in the 90s, Friday was kind of our path to freedom. The weekends were awesome, but Friday was really that let loose, let your hair down, go out, have a good time night. And, you know, before the internet, before all the things kids have to do nowadays, we actually went out and we socialized. And where did we go do this at? Well, we had arcades, we had bowling alleys that had arcade machines. I know here around where I live, we had a roller skating rink that had an extensive arcade. And my friends and I, we would go and we would burn these arcade machines up. So that's what this series is all about. We're going to be celebrating Friday nights at the arcade and look at different arcade games each Friday night. We are lucky to live in a world that has the emulators and things available to us to relive these memories. Because, you know, otherwise an arcade cabinet could go for a couple $1,000s, particularly some of the old retro ones that we would want to cover. But tonight we're going to talk about one of the games that we used to tear to pieces when I was a kid, and that is WWF Wrestlefest. Now, my friends and I growing up, we were all big wrestling fans, as a lot of people were in the 90s. But the video games were always sort of lackluster. But, man, once we saw Wrestlefest, and once we had that, that's when we knew that wrestling could put out some good games. And I know if I had the money back that I spent in WWF WrestleFest, I'd probably have a nice little nest egg for myself. One of the great things about playing these games on these modern emulators is the ability to hit a button, as you see the credits going up as I say that, and just be able to put all the credits you want on there. And that's handy because, you know, these games can be quite difficult and quite expensive because of it. Because that's what they were designed to do. They were designed to challenge you, so you had to spend more money. Now, WrestleFest had two main modes. They had the Royal Rumble mode and then Saturday Night's Main Event, which is what we're going to be taking a look at. Saturday Night's Main Event, you pick two wrestlers. I always pick bad guys, so I'm going to go with Mr. Perfect and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And your goal is to wrestle a series of matches in order to get yourself to the WWF Tag Team Champions, Hawk and Animal, the Legion of Doom. This game very ahead of its time. As you see, we have ring announcer Mike McGurk in there with actual voice intros, which in 1990 or 91 when this came out, that was definitely something massively different. But we're starting off, it's DiBiase and Mr. Perfect against the team of Demolition. Now, the gameplay in this game is very simple, just two buttons. You know, you do like a tug of war there to get your grapples. And there we got a backdrop by Mr. Perfect. I went ahead and went for the pin because I forgot my buttons, but the partners will come in and kind of break up the deal. Now, anytime that you want to regain your power, you just hit the start button. As long as you have a coin in there, it will regain the power for you. Also, too, if there was a second, third, or fourth player, they could insert their own coins and join the fray as either your partner or the opposite team. But you can see Smash kind of giving it to me a little bit here, but that's okay. I bet you we've not really played this game very much in the last 10 or so years. You don't really see it in arcades anymore. We got a sleeper hold there, but he breaks out. The referee, you know, in good position there. Oh, smash to the top rope, but we get out of the way. Let's go ahead and see what Mr. DiBiase's got. Well, I'm on the top rope now. Let's see if we can get Ted DiBiase in. Here we go. Bring the $1 Million Man in to take on Crush here. You know, these games were so difficult as a kid. You could spend hours and lots of money trying to beat them. That's what makes these MAME emulators so wonderful, is they make these games truly accessible. We got a $1 Million Dream there. Could that do it? That is Ted DiBiase's finish, but no, not at all. There we go. He won the tug of war there. Another $1 Million Dream. He gave up. There we go. We've won our first match. All right, 3 more victories to get to the title match. Hogan looks really happy for us. So that Sergeant Slaughter, the big boss man now. A lot of fun, these games. These games didn't have a lot in terms of modes and roster, but what they did have is they had solid gameplay and a nice kind of cartoony style, which really went with the presentation of professional wrestling in the 90s, you know, that really over-the-top, cartoony. Here comes the Boss Man. Let's see what we can do with him here. Backbreaker. It is kind of odd. One of the things about playing these games, you know, with emulators, is I'm using a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus right now with RetroPie installed. Playing these games with an Xbox 360 controller is a little odd. Oh, Bossman reverses us there, bringing Sergeant Slaughter back in. I always thought a nice touch in this game was how the rings changed as if you were on different shows and different arenas. I always thought that was kind of a nice touch, especially in the 90s when, you know, you didn't have that kind of detail in games. Referee going after the count. Sergeant Slaughter gets out into 2 count here. You know, if you're a wrestling fan too, this is a game that is definitely for you. Very much a who's who Hall of Fame kind of roster on this game. Now, one of the things that is very disappointing is in... Oh, look at that. We already got Sergeant Slaughter to submit. Head on to the next match. Somewhere around, I think, 2012 or 2013, THQ put out a new version of WrestleFest. We got Hogan and the Warrior. This is going to be a tough battle. But they put out a new version of WrestleFest on the iPhone. Or I guess it was probably also on Android, but I always had iPhone. But it featured modern arenas, modern characters and such. And, you know, the gameplay was very similar, but it just didn't have the same charm that we all remember. You know, it's one of those things you can't recreate lightning in a bottle. You can no longer find that game, actually. After THQ went through bankruptcy court, it was delisted from the App Store. And I guess that's one of the things that no one ever picked up the license for. But nothing can compare to the original anyway. WrestleFest, like I said, it's definitely one of those games that my friends and I really had a good time with as kids. Hogan really whooped us in the cage here. And I forgot to mention that we are in a cage match here. There's Perfect with the Perfect Plex. Could that do it? No, Hogan powers out. Hogan's not going to lay down for Mr. Perfect. We'll try again, though. But the cage match, something we had seen possibly in other games, but never to this detail. Definitely really looks good. Very much that blue bar steel cage that we all got used to as children, that the WWF had. Let's see if DiBiase can do a little better here against the Ultimate Warrior. But the graphics in this game, you know, we're talking about the era of the NES, Super Nintendo, and Genesis. We're just starting to get a presence in the market, you know. So when you see graphics like this, you know, this was nothing to sneeze at. I remember really wishing that we could get a wrestling game that looked this good on the home market. And I still believe, you know, to this day, this game looks really nice. I mean, it doesn't have the photorealism, of course, WWE 2K19 or anything like that, but it definitely has its own charm in an old-school arcade way. And there we go. We finish our third match, head on to the fourth. We've only used 5 credits so far. Kind of proud of that. We got Jake the Snake and the Earthquake here. Longtime wrestling fans might realize what a kind of a crazy team that is to have, since they were basically sworn enemies for the most part. Perfect with a drop kick. Oh, going for the pin a little early here. You know, this is a series I've been looking forward to recording, something I've been dreaming of for a long time before I even started this channel. So if you have any particular arcade games you want to see covered on the Friday night at the arcades, let me know. Shoot me a comment down in the comment section, or shoot me an email at mediajam86@gmail.com. Wherever you want to let me know. I'd love to cover, I mean, anything old school arcade for our Friday night at the arcade videos. We're actually doing really well at this game comparatively to what I thought we were going to do. Let's go ahead and get DiBiase in here. Well, we'll try the top rope first. And We came up completely short. Earthquake's going to hit us with the headbutts here. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get DiBiase in. Give Perfect a little bit of a break. I love how, you know, the arcade style, no real weight detection. DiBiase able to pick up Earthquake and do what he needs to do. No problems. Pile driver here. Now, one of the things about the Legion of Doom, so that would be our next match if we get past Earthquake and Jake Roberts. The Legion of Doom have twice the health, and their moves do twice the damage of any other team in the game. They also are not available for you to play as by default. Now, I do hear there are cheat devices and codes that will allow you to play as the Legion of Doom. We're not doing that, obviously. But that's how these games got your money. You know, once you beat the game, they were afraid that you would have no reason to keep playing. And there we go. We are heading on to the title match. I love this part. I love the interview they do with Mean Gene Okerlund where no one voices themselves. But definitely ahead of its time here with the interviews. And something that would really draw you in at the arcade when you heard these things. There we have the entrance of the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal. And here we go. This is the big title match. There we go. Drop kick by Mr. Perfect. This might be where we could burn up some quarters. I know as a kid there was nothing worse than running out of money during the title match. You were there, it was time, and you ran out of money. Because as you saw there, I went for the pin. They're hard to beat down. And then, I mean, to pin them, you better have them down or they will kick out. And they will make fast tags too, the Legion of Doom will. I don't know if any of you all played this game, but if you did, let me know. Let me know what you thought of the episode, of course. Trying to kind of gauge what you guys want to see and what I need to be playing here. Yeah, we're definitely going to burn up some credits on this game, or on this match, I'm saying, but that's okay. It's okay. It's not like we're actually paying for them. Not too bad. There we go. Now, one thing that I don't see often, but that is possible, is you can fight outside of the ring. It is possible to throw your opponent out there or to be thrown out there. There are weapons and the such. If you all enjoy this video of WrestleFest too, let me know. We could do another video where we play the Royal Rumble. Maybe a bonus video. Doesn't have to be an episode in and of itself. We got the Perfect Plex. There is no chance of that working though. It's funny. There's so much controversy nowadays with games being pay to win and all that stuff. But really, if you think about the old arcade model, that was the true beginning of the pay to win model. Because you really truly did. You paid more money so you could have a chance of beating the game. I don't know how many times that I lost at these games because my dad said it was enough. We'd had enough, and he wasn't built out of quarters, so we had to move on down to something else. Really too close to the Road Warriors ropes there for me to get the pin. Let's try to move, see if we can get Animal to come over here. There we go. We got a nice chop there. And now Hawk's up. He's going to break up the pin. Definitely a steep difficulty curve in this game. Let's get the Perfect Plex. What would probably previously easily work is definitely taking a lot more punishment these guys are this time around. Oh, Animals really kind of got us in a way here. Hard to get your momentum back once you've lost it. But that's okay. We're not going to try for the pin here. We're just going to kind of work him over. He's probably going to go for that tag. No, he's going to the top rope. No, 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 no. Oh, he missed. And we are way too close to Animal, or Hawk, I'm sorry, on the apron for us to get that pin. But good try. Definitely taking a beating right now. Animal working those pile drivers over. Man. Yeah, I remember the Legion of Doom was kind of limited, but I didn't remember they were this limited, I mean. There we go, chop. It's not going to work. We can give it a shot here. Definitely one of the challenges in this game is getting that pin while the partner's floating around. Could this be it? There it is, folks. We have won the Tag Team Championships. Of course, the game does say go for the next match when the next match is actually defense. But we see Gene Okerlund introducing the WWF Tag Team Champions. After a number of tough matches, we have a new champion team. Mr. Perfect and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. So, folks, this has been the Saturday night's main event mode in WWF Wrestlefest. If you like what you saw, please like, share, subscribe. I just appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know what arcade games you do want to see in the future. And until we meet again, y'all have a good one.